Alright, welcome to tonight's homework. This is take one for you. This is my second time doing it because I messed up the first time. So, it's all good. Here we go. Two-step word problems. When we look at two-step word problems, we need to evaluate the problem first. And the way we do that is by following these four basic steps. First, we need to read the problem carefully. So when we read the problem, we need to make sure that we are understanding the words in the problem, make sure we're reading the words correctly, and that we're thinking about the problem as we're reading it. Step two, I need to figure out what I know first. So a lot of times problems give me information without me having to solve for anything. So when that happens, I need to be able to identify those parts of the problem to help me solve for the parts I don't know. So I always want to figure out what I know first. The third part, or the third step, is to label the steps in the word problem. And this is a big thing. This can really help me. So before I think about step 4, which is writing the equations and solving, I can think about what steps am I going to do first and just label those in the problem. And you're going to see that in the next little bit. And then again, the fourth step, write the equations and solve. So that's what we do right at the end when we've read carefully and we figure out what we know. We've labeled our steps. So we're breaking down the problem and then we're going to solve. So looking at number 1, 7 chickens laid 4 eggs each. 9 eggs broke. How many eggs are left? Again, read it in your head as I read it aloud one more time. 7 chickens laid 4 eggs each. 9 eggs broke. How many eggs are left? So when I look at this problem, I read it carefully and I'm going to look at what I know. I know 7 chickens laid 4 eggs each. That's terminology or wording that I've heard a lot before. That sounds a lot to me like 7 times 4. Okay, I know that. It's given that to me. I know 7 times 4. I've heard that before. I know to start with the 7, and I know to start with the 4. Then it says 9 eggs broke, or 9 eggs broke. So before I figure out how many eggs are left, I need to know how many had to start. So that means that this first part right up here is going to be the first thing I need to figure out. And I also know if 9 eggs broke, that means I'm going to be subtracting. So I'm thinking about this problem very carefully. Am I multiplying, dividing, adding, subtracting, a combination of them? How am I going to solve this? Okay, so I know if 9 eggs broke, and I'm asking for how many are left, then I need to take away that 9. And that's going to equal a certain number of eggs left. Go ahead and put in your answer in the box when it pops up and solve it and check your work. Okay, after you've checked your work, I know I need to do what's in parentheses first. So 7 times 4 is 28. 28 minus 9 is going to equal a certain number of eggs. Those eggs are going to be 19 eggs. 28 minus 9 is going to be 19. Label my answer, 19 eggs. There we go. Let's look at number 2. There are 9 houses on Bill's street. Each house has 2 apple trees, 3 orange trees, and 4 avocado trees. How many trees are on Bill's street in all? Okay. There are 9 houses on Bill's street. Each house, this looks important to me, each house has 2 apple trees, 3 orange trees, and 4 avocado trees. That's information I know. I can picture that. I can picture a little house right here. I know it's the best house drawing you've ever seen. I know that. I know. So, just joking. But you have 2 apple trees, 3 orange trees, and 4 avocado trees. Which means each house, so one house, has how many trees? That's right. Each house has 9 trees. So that's the first thing I need to do to solve, is right here. I need to add those up. So now when I know that one house has 9 trees, I know that 9 trees times 9 houses is going to be a certain number of trees. So T will equal 81 trees. And I want to put this in one equation. So the first part I do is 2 plus 3 plus 4. So whatever I do first, I'm putting in parentheses. Then after that, it's going on the outside of the parentheses. And then that's how I write it in one equation. So then I can go 9 times 9 equals T. T equals 81 trees. And you would write your label right there. Okay. The last one, number 3. Mike has $10. He bought 2 pies for $4 each. Now that got my brain going. How much money does Mike have now? Okay. So he bought 2 pies for $4 each. I know that. I know what to do there. That sounds like multiplying to me. I've heard that before. So that might be something where I'm looking, is that my first step or my second step? I'm starting to think about that. And I can also picture Mike having $10. So that's what I know. Now, when I look at how to label the problem in terms of steps, if I'm looking at how much money Mike has now, or how much money does he have after he's spent the money for the pies, I know that I need to subtract what I started with minus how much money I spent. So how much money did we start with? Well, we started with $10. So I'm going to take away however much he spent. Well, what did he spend? So this is the first part right here. Mike has $10. I need to start with that part. And he bought 2 pies for $4 each. Well, 2 pies for $4 each. That sounds a lot like 2 times 4, doesn't it? Okay. And that's going to equal a certain amount of money left. Okay. And again, real quick, our label is never monies. Sometimes we put monies. It's always cents, pounds, dollars, whatever the label is asking for, but we never put monies as our label. Okay? So we have 10 minus 2 times 4 equals m. So this was the second part of the equation that I had to put into. Now, that's for when I write it. Now, when I actually solve, okay, follow me here. The first thing I need to do is I need to start with this 1 because I need to start with my $10 right over here. And then I have to go minus the 2 times 4. So when I actually solve, this part is actually the first part I solve. Okay? And then the second part I solve is the 10 minus this answer. So go ahead and you solve it and see what you get. Right, so we have 10 minus 2 times 4 is 8 equals m. And I know then that n is going to equal $2. Okay? So again, when we are looking at how to solve multi-step problems, I want to follow these steps, 1 through 4. I need to read that problem carefully, figure out what I know, start labeling the steps in that word problem, and writing the equations to solve. Okay, good job, you guys. Excellent. If you have problems submitting it to Google Classroom, I apologize for that. I'm still figuring that one out. So as long as you watched it, do your best to submit it. You don't have to attach any work. Just submit it. Just submit it as done once you watch the video. Okay, and I'm figuring out how to work that too. So thank you guys for your patience. Great job on this assignment. Keep up the good work. Okay, you guys are awesome.